Angela Mascaratolo, a reporter at SC Magazine, and today I'm here with Todd Feinman, CEO of Identity Finder, and they do data loss prevention. Hi Todd, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So today let's talk about data loss, and it might be kind of elementary, or people may already know it, but tell us the main vectors for data loss, and tell us if these vectors have changed at all over time.
So it hasn't changed too much. It's still really coming from loss of laptops, loss of other digital media, and people having a computer broken into from a hacker and someone getting access to information that sits on their computer. So whether it be them accidentally, losing the information or someone maliciously trying to steal it, it's still coming from sitting on their computers.
So the main sources of data loss haven't changed a lot over time.
Not
That's
really.
Interesting.
I mean, the volume is getting larger, but it's in the same percentages as you've seen it in the past.
And even as prevalence has grown, the volume of data loss has gotten larger?
It has. I mean, the problem is that there's a lot more of the information being saved and a lot more forms of our identity. So where, universities store social security numbers of every single student and every single applicant. And now there's a lot more credit cards being used in stores and online. So we have all this information, but, or I should say customers have all this information, but there's also other forms of our identity. Like now we're also seeing like a username and password being considered personal information that could lead to a data breach. So there's a lot more forms of our identity that need to be protected.
Right. And so what are the major challenges that you're hearing? When customers come to you, what are they saying that they're the most challenging part of protecting data is?
One of the biggest challenges is knowing where all the information is. This information has been saved historically all over the place, whether it be inside of emails, in databases, on intranets and websites and SharePoint servers, as well as on files within their own desktops. And people exchange information all the time. And they forget that a spreadsheet might have a hidden column with a bunch of social security numbers. They think it's just a spreadsheet that has contact information. And now this information is all over the place, so people forget where it is. And today, they need to really clean all that information up. There's enough reasons to get rid of that information and not just have it sit on everyone's computer.
Right. And are you hearing that being driven by any of these new regulations, such as Mass 201?
Yes, absolutely. Massachusetts is definitely at the forefront where many of our customers and also prospective customers are talking about how there's all this information that they've stored over the years, and now they need to figure out where it is so they can clean it off their systems, whether it be backup servers, file servers, desktops, email servers, or they simply want to encrypt it, but they just don't know where all of it is because it's been there for so long. And today's processes also really allow people to potentially keep saving it. So not every organization has trained their employees not to save credit cards or not to email them. So what happens is an employee emails some information to another employee about one of their customers, and now it's saved in their sent items, and that's on the mail server, and that mail server gets backed up. So there's now at least 6 places where that information is. The sent items saved on the 2 different desktops, or I should say the received items on one desktop, the sent items on another, 2 different mail servers. So this information is all over the place.
Wow, that's interesting to hear about how one file can get replicated in so many different spots.
Yes, and sometimes people will even block it. Like, they might be able to block it from leaving the organization, but the problem is that person still has it in their sent items on their local copy of their mail client. And then what happens is you get these scenarios where people archive their old mail items so that their mail is easier to search and all that, but that archived data is sitting somewhere on their desktop. And again, if they ever lose that laptop, or that laptop gets stolen, or they get a virus or some malware that can steal the information from them, now all of a sudden they've exposed this spreadsheet with 200 social security numbers or 200,000 social security numbers.
Back to Mass 201, what are you hearing as a reaction to that? Are people, having a hard time getting into compliance and not wanting to, or are they mostly, taking it well?
So we're here, our customers are actually very motivated by it. They love the fact that they're getting bigger budgets to actually fix a lot of the problems they know have existed.
Right.
And it does help minimize a great deal of risk because it's not an onerous regulation. It's not like the Sarbanes-Oxley, it's not like Sarbanes-Oxley with these many moving parts. It's pretty clear. If there's unprotected personal information, get it off your systems or protect it. So now they have these budgets to justify going through and cleaning up all this data that historically has existed and really shouldn't have. So we're hearing a lot of positive comments. We're not hearing that it's an overly burdensome problem. When our customers talk to us about how they're solving the problem, they don't talk about, we don't know how to do this, we don't know the first thing about it, and it's not requiring a great deal of professional services. And it's not a very expensive problem to solve, but it's a good thing, especially as a customer of some of these businesses in Massachusetts. I'm glad to know that they don't have my personal information unprotected anymore.
Right. And do you think that there's going to be more similar legislations coming down the pipeline?
Absolutely. I do believe you'll start to see more and more states follow in suit because I think there has been a lot of positive reaction to at least these parts of Massachusetts 201 and CMR 17. And there are other states like California has always had pretty stringent privacy policy, privacy laws. So we'll see more of that, I think, throughout the other states.
So it's in companies' best interest to start protecting their data because eventually, no matter where they are, they might be mandated to do so.
Absolutely. And, you don't want to be that company on the front cover of the magazine or the Wall Street Journal or something that says you just had the big data breach. Nobody wants to be that company. So this is a much cheaper problem to solve now before it becomes an incident.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so best practices, what can they do? If they're just starting now, or if they're in it, what are some best practices?
It's funny, the FTC really has it right, and they have it, they've boiled it down to as simple as possible. Find all that information and get rid of everything you no longer need, and then secure everything that you do. And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but they have this 5-step process that's very easy to follow, that basically says go through and find everything. But in general, what we tell our customers, and what we actually see our customers telling us to tell other customers, is just clean your systems. Get rid of anything you no longer need. Mm-hmm. Faculty and staff don't need student social security numbers on their computers. Maybe only a few people in the registrar do. And retailers don't need to save people's credit card numbers. Their merchant service providers can save that information. And healthcare organizations don't need all this patient health information on every single doctor's tablet and computer. They only need a limited level of information. And then what you do need, encrypt. Make sure that if your computer does get stolen, or you lose it, or you do get that virus, encryption is there to protect whatever is saved there.
Okay. All right. Well, Todd, thanks for going over this.
Thank you as well.
And thanks to you for joining. Have a great day.